Morning, everyone who's jumped on the call. Thanks very much for joining us this morning. As you can see on the screen, this one's a hardware special, so a little bit of a deviation from the normal drop-in sessions that we do. But what we really wanted to do today was sort of shine a bit of a light on the hardware team within Farmplan, and just to sort of show you what they actually do for many of our customers, some of the services and functions they provide. And there's also some interesting hints and tips and some sort of anecdotal examples of how they've helped out on the call. Okay, so as you can see, we've got a number of topics on the screen to sort of guide the conversation, really just sort of looking at what the hardware team's all about and what we provide, as I mentioned. And then we're going to move on to something that's maybe not always quite so palatable, but definitely always worthy of attention, and really just on the whole security side, and also just some examples of how we're helping customers, and just trying to relate those back to sort of scenarios that you may find or encompass. But as always, just trying to tie this back to the sort of the core function of Farmplan, which is the software side, and obviously how that hardware contributes and really adds value to what we do to our customers. And then we're going to wrap up with just a little bit of a e-learning platform overview from Adam, and we'll also have an opportunity for some Q&As. And as you can see, what we'll try and do is intersperse this with a little bit of poll questions, just to get the conversation flowing. So yeah, make sure you're ready and on the keyboard for that one. But without further ado, I'll just let the team introduce themselves. So I'll hand over to Adam briefly, and then onto the hardware team specifically. Adam.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Going to enjoy this hardware special. Looking forward to this. Like Ben said, a bit of a deviation from the norm. There's a few names on the attendee list I recognise. So good morning to those of you that I have met before, and looking forward to meeting the rest of you in hopefully due course when we get back out to shows and things. If we haven't met, I'm training services manager with Farmplan. My sort of background is the cropping, or specialities on the cropping side of things with Gatekeeper, and particularly with the training side of things as well, obviously. And very keen to explore how training can help add value to your business, to the way that you operate your software. And we're going to take a look at the new e-learning platform, like Ben said, that we've got going at the moment. So I'll catch up with you again later on.
Great stuff. Thanks. Okay, John, over to you, and for a bit of an introduction.
Hi, I hope you can hear me okay. Yeah, so my name's John, obviously. I've been working for Farmplan for just over 25 years now. I work in the IT section. That's really evolved quite a bit over the years. And now one of my main roles is to provide cloud applications to customers, provide support for security, that kind of thing, which is something I'm going to cover today regarding email security for you guys.
Thanks, John. And Tom, last but absolutely by no means least, we'll let you introduce yourself and then take your section forward.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, morning all. I'm Tom. I've been at Farmplan roughly 7 years. Today, I'm just going to be talking about the basics of hardware, nothing too in depth, just what we provide from hardware to our services. And just like John said as well, any questions or anything regarding webmail or cloud products, just ask, and do our best to let you know.
Okay, right. Well, over to you then, Tom.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so next slide. Yeah, so just gonna start off with talking about generically what we sell. So as you can see on the screen, just starting with hardware, we do desktops, laptops, all-in-ones. We main 3 specs, which will be the performance, the Gatekeeper, and Prestige. Starting with the lower end spec, it's going to be an i5 8 gig 250 SSD with Windows 10 Pro. I'll go into SSDs in a future slide. But each spec gradually gets better and better. One, 2-pronged sort of system. One is the better spec computer, so faster at doing things, faster at running multiple applications, aka obviously Gatekeeper for the mapping, images, and all that. And going on a little bit higher, this is for people that really, want a best of the best computer, which is going to last a long time. Talking about, 5 years plus before, you probably consider changing it due to, because one thing you should always think about, programs are always developing, getting more demanding, but when you buy a computer, it will always stay the same spec, really, no matter how long you have it, obviously, till you buy a new one. That's just the basics 3. We do those 3 on each of those desktops, laptops, and all-in-ones. Going on, a lot of people don't realize, but we also can provide hardware, provide Apple of any type, whether it's iMacs, iPads, iPhones. And 9 times out of 10, just say you come to us with a price from Apple, we can beat that price. So anything along those Apple lines, we can provide for you. Just a quick list, we do Microsoft Surface Books, which is basically Microsoft's attempt at iPads, that sort of like area. They're more bespoke, that they're a lot bigger, they're detachable from keyboards. They have their own, twist on that market, which, a lot of people, like. We sell a lot of them as well. Just briefly going over, network equipment. We do servers for people that have, big offices with lots of workers in the office, employees that need that environment. And that can be from, needing routers, switches, NAS boxes. Cannot go into too much depth, but we can provide anything and set up anything for any environment you may need. And just to glaze over, we do barcode scanners, load bars, EID equipment, and printers. Really, as you can see from the theme of the slide, anything you need, we can probably provide for you. So yeah, next slide, please, Vicky. Okay, so if we go on to about the specification, like I said, SSDs. Normally an normal hard drive from probably 5 years ago is mechanical. So what that means is it has disks inside, has moving parts. And obviously with moving parts they can go wrong, and they're slower. A lot slower to access the data. Solid state drives, SSD for short, they're way faster than normal hard drives. They're no moving parts. The best way to explain it is, they're big USB sticks. And obviously, as the slide says, traditionally a computer may take 2 minutes to start up. And with these SSDs, it can take 10 seconds. And the amount of customers which, when we say that to them, they don't really believe us, honestly, but until they actually get a computer, they ring up and they go, wow, it's so much faster. Again, that speed isn't just booting up, with a Gatekeeper booting up, from loading the maps to, not just Gatekeeper, any of the Farmplan programs, that speed translates across the whole system. As I briefly touched on as well, the reliability of SSDs, because there's no moving parts, the longevity of them to last longer, just because of that thing. Another thing to touch on, CPUs, they're more like the brains of the computer that do all the operations. So talking about CPUs, there's quite a lot of them in the Intel side of things. They start at i3 and they go all the way up to i7 and i9. Obviously i3 we see not being the best of the CPUs. They're kind of entry level, with i9s just being completely overkill. So we just go with the i5 and i7s, to do all your day-to-day work of the computer. Yeah, so next slide please, Vicky. Yeah, this is going to be a quick slide. As you can see, laptops versus PCs and PCs versus laptops. Just the general benefits and why we would provide a laptop versus PC, or maybe not just why we would provide, but why a customer may come to us wanting a laptop over a computer. Some customers, accountants, they need that laptop for portability. They're going around the country a lot on trains or whatever. So that touched on the first point of laptops for PCs, the portability. Obviously with PC, you can't really move them around at all. They're stationary. You don't expect to move them. But with laptops, you can move around the office, you can commute with them, whatever you may need to do. Put connectivity, just again, nowadays Wi-Fi is everywhere and anywhere. You get them on the Stagecoach bus, or you get it on trains. So yeah, so that's another huge benefit for commuting a lot. When I put ease of assembly, I mean this sort of thing, you know, just say you're not 100%, you know, computer savvy, you can just buy a laptop from us, you know, and away you go. Get out of the box. No need to mess around with plugging mice, keyboard, setting up the right cables for the monitor. Straight off the bat, you're good to go. Yeah, another thing in recent years, newer laptops, the battery is way better than what it used to be. You know, you can charge your laptop up and it will last 2 days, you know, straight off the bat. But obviously, you've got to consider what you're doing on a laptop. If you're doing intensive programming or gatekeeper again, for example, that battery life may be shortened. Slight con with the laptop, keyboard and mouse. A lot of well, all laptops come with touchpads. Not for everybody. Take a lot of getting used to. You know, a mouse is a lot. You know, a standalone mouse is a lot better to use. And when I put keyboard, most laptops don't have like what I would say is ergonomic keyboards. You know, they're very flat, very, you know, the keys are very close together. So, you know, one thing to consider. A cost of a laptop could be a con in the sense you're paying more money for like the portability of it because it's a lot, you know, a lot smaller than your traditional. You know, sorry, you're paying a lot more money because the parts are a lot smaller to get portability first performance. When I put damage and repair, you know, talking about, you know, if you drop a laptop because of that portability, you know, you're most likely going to break the screen, something inside is going to get broken, and then on the side of that, repairing it a lot harder because, you know, you need specific torch screws, some screwdrivers, all that sort of thing, you know, take into consideration, you know, if you're careful, not a problem, but always think about it. Theft, obviously, not everyone considers it, but, you know, we have had a few cases for Farmplan, you know, where customers have had their laptops stolen, whether it's from the office or, you know, whatever the scenario may be. So it's, you know, a lot easier to just walk past, pick up a laptop that you may have forgotten about. So always something to consider. Going to the other side of the fence, PCs versus laptops. A pro of a computer standalone PC is price versus performance. You'll be getting a lot more, well, not a lot more, but get more bang for your buck for price versus performance because of the nature of the beast, so to speak. You know, your tower, it doesn't have to be that compact components which you have to pay premium prices for. So always a good thing to consider. If you have the chance to, you know, have a standalone PC, always go for one. When I put larger processors, again, because of that PC, it has more space. You can have more powerful processors for the same price. Because they're bigger, you know, more air inside the computer to keep it cool, believe it or not, which therefore, you know, allows better performance. One thing I didn't touch on actually with the laptop side of things is the screen size. You know, whether it's a pro or con to you, depending obviously of your age or how you are. Your eyesight, for example, with laptops, your screen size can range from 13 inches to more, to believe it or not, uncommonly 17 inches nowadays. 15 inches is the, you know, the common size of screens. You know, smaller screens come smaller icons mostly, you know, and which, you know, some people don't find useful. But with the PCs, you have screens ranging from 24 inches, which we sell as the common now, with going all the way up to, you know, 27s, 32s. But again, it's whatever you require. The bigger screen, you got more, you know, more floor space as it is to work with your programs, and icons to see, and, you know, all those things to consider. When we get PCs in the workshop, they're a lot easier to fix 9 times out of 10 than laptops. Just purely because we can take the side off the case in 2 seconds. We can see if any parts, you know, just mechanically not working. If we turn on a PC, we can see like error codes. We can see, you know, exactly what part we need to change. Whereas with laptops, it's not that straightforward. Again, going to the theft side of things, security, you know, if you've got a standalone PC, it's not exactly a quick thing to chuck in your bag to steal. So, you know, again, something to consider. Again, all this is kind of the opposite of the laptop side of things. So the con of a PC is the limited portability. So, you know, obviously, once you set it up, it's very unlikely you're going to be moving it around the office or moving it to a different place to work. Again, space requirement. If you're having a 24-inch screen, you know, a lot of people nowadays have 2 24-inch screens, dual monitor setups. You know, that's something you definitely need to consider. You can't just have it in a small cubbyhole. You need a good amount of space for those screens. Yeah, so that's pros versus cons. So next, Vicky.
Well, just before we move on to the next slide, I've just got a quick poll for the audience, if that's okay.
Yeah, go for
So
it.
I'll just flick it onto the screen. It's just a quick question of when was the last time that your office equipment was updated? So you should see this on your screen in just a moment. Well, and if everyone just ticks and votes for what roughly fits you best. Brilliant. I think we're waiting on a couple of votes to come in.
What's it looking like?
Interesting. I'll share the results with you. Yeah, I think most people have voted, so I'll close that. I'll share it on the screen with you so you can see. Quite interesting, quite a big split of the 5 years plus and the 1 to 3 years.
It's interesting. I was sort of thinking, Tom, as we ran through that, do you see customers to Farmplan, would they be generally sort of changing their hardware quite often, or and has that changed over the years?
Sure, definitely. I mean, when I first started, it's always a lot of regular customers that always use Farmplan. They know what we recommend. Like every 3 years, we always recommend changing the computer. Just not because we want sales, because we want the customer. We want Farmplan to look its best and perform at its best with that newer computer. But in recent years, we get a lot of people come to us now because they know who we are. We know what the service we provide. Yeah, so definitely say about every 3 years we'd recommend changing the computer.
That's brilliant. So yeah, I'll hand back over to you and pop it onto the
Perfect.
next slide for you.
All right. Okay. So yeah. So just flowing on nicely from that poll. This is a brief overview of hardware and our services we provide. So we have telephone support. All 5 of us in hardware team are UK based. I work 8 in the morning to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. As a pro to that, we can log into your computer to look at problems. Whether, for example, your emails aren't working, or it could be anything. Printers not printing. Anything that we can fix by logging in. A lot of customers love that feature because not everyone's tech savvy, and having someone to just log in, crack on, get to work, it's fantastic for them. Touching again on new computers that we provide for you, whether it's laptops or whatnot, full data transfer from the old PC to the new, and that can range from as it says, Farmplan software, so that would be the licensing of the software, whether it's Gatekeeper, Business Manager, Catalog Manager, any of that side of Farmplan software. We'd move all that data over, so that'll all be set up ready for you to go. So no messing around with web access codes, any of that, be ready to go. Emails, documents, pictures, it's pretty much as it says, 4-day transfer. Anything we can move over with, we know it's okay to move, we'll move it. We make sure it's all there for you. Third-party programs, I mean, if it's discussed with us, we can try and move in other programs, whatever they might be. But obviously, we do make it aware to the customer that potentially you're going to have to license it. You're going to have to give it, tell us where to go to get the software. So, and going on from that, so as you see, it says ready, set, go. So that's the sort of mindset we're giving to customers who want to buy a new computer. It's 3 simple steps. We collect your computer, transfer the data. We will set up your new computer for you. So it's a case of you plug it in and away you go. And as I said before, if you're not the best at doing this and you need help, just plug in the monitor, plug in the right cables. We're not a company that just sells your computer and away you go. We're here for the aftercare as well. And finally, the go step, all your Farmplan software is there ready for you to work on and go, no messing around ringing us up. Hopefully it should be ready to go. As a part of the sales process as well, if you want your PC safely disposed of, that's the service we provide. That's normally free of charge when you buy a new computer. We have a company that come in, bi-monthly to dispose of your computer. Just touching on that point, we don't dispose of your old computer, and probably for about 2-3 weeks, and purely because there are some cases customers ring us up and go, oh, I'm missing this document, and we've just missed something. or emails, we need to have, tinker on to get it look the same way. It could be anything. So we keep hold of the old computer for 2 or 3 weeks, just make sure customer's happy. And if we haven't heard from you, we assume you are. Just again, a few services. We do full antivirus protection support. We mainly use BullGuard, which we recommend, as a default to customers. So it's called BullGuard Internet Security. So that will be your antivirus built into that, a firewall as well, and that's all set up, pre-configured to not interfere with BullGuard, not interfere with business manager, gatekeeper, anything like that. So as well as from hardware point of view, software team, if you say you got BullGuard through us, they know how to get around problems if BullGuard's causing the problem. And if you're a bigger customer, you probably don't need to know this so much, but we do provide Eset, which is business level antivirus. Again, all the previous sort of points applied to it. So, we set it up, we manage it for you. There's nothing for you to do. Just briefly going to skim over this point. All our cloud services, we do our Office 365 emails, Cronus Cloud Backup, and Dropbox for business. I mean, I won't go into too much, but again, sort of thing. That's our main portfolio which we do, but any cloud services which you might require, OneDrive or whatnot, we can provide for you if that's a route you want to take. Okay. I believe final slide for me. So, but going on, so Windows 10, we were told I think it was 2015 by Microsoft that Windows 10 was going to be the ultimate end of the line operating system, and we are never going to have any new operating systems. But as it is, with Microsoft being able to do what they want, as it is, Windows 11 has now been officially announced, and it will be coming out. Well, it's already out now for us to test. But going forward, the end of autumn should be when it's readily available on all computers, and that includes, if just say you buy a computer from us today with Windows 10 on, in autumn you'll be able to have a free upgrade to Windows 11. But on from that, Microsoft are still doing their, I think it's bi-monthly or quarterly big Windows update they do, which is security patches, updates, all that sort of thing. And obviously the importance of moving from older operating systems isn't just because programs work better on it. It's for security for you, your business, your family, all those sort of things. Microsoft don't do it just for the sake of it. They do it because they need to keep their the system secure and not compromised from outside sources. So that's a real thing to always consider. It's not just us saying it. It's to protect you and make sure you're safe. Yeah. So and going forward, I mean, not that it makes too much sense, I guess, but Windows 11 will be the first operating system to only be 64-bit, which means, again, more security for you as a user. And again, there's a thing called TPM chips, which come with specific CPUs. I believe it's 2017/2018 and newer. So with Windows 11, they're forcing your hand a little bit to have these new CPUs, TPM chips. Again, for security, that's basically the golden rule Microsoft are trying to push here. Security. The TPM chips make it so difficult for outside people to get into a computer and to hack it. So that's what, again, so Windows 10 is perfectly fine at the moment. Obviously, nothing to worry about. But again, Microsoft are just pushing on with Windows 11, going to be the future stable of operating systems. So if you're not on Windows 10 or Windows 11 now, definitely think about moving to Windows 10 as soon as possible. So for one, you're secure and safe, and you're ready for Windows 11 when it gets released. And that's it, Vicky. I think for me, is it? Or have I got more?
No, that's great. Thank you, Tom. Just to sort of round that off, we have got another poll for you guys. So I'll just pop that on the screen again for you. Hopefully you should see it in a moment. And yeah, same again, just cast your vote. For a couple of votes coming in. And hopefully sort of what Tom ran through has given you a bit of an insight into what we do. I think most people have voted now, so quite an even-ish split. So I'll just share those results with you guys.
Interesting view on that one.
Yeah. So it's fairly even split there, which is really interesting. And hopefully those that haven't bought from us hardware wise before, hopefully now, you know, a bit more informed about what we can offer. I will hand over to our next section of the webinar.
Just before we go on to that, Vicky, just a question for Tom. Farmplan, as I'll talk about later on, very well known on software support, but the hardware support you mentioned there as well, and I think that's worth just mentioning again, that kind of level of commitment service to the customers, and maybe if you haven't bought hardware from Farmplan before, that's something really that's worth considering the package. And just so I understand as well, Tom, and maybe pass on to the audience as well. The phone support that's available to anybody. So if I just buy a laptop from you, I can phone back at any point with a query about that. I don't have to have necessarily be involved in Premier Care or have anything else. It can be a simple hardware purchase, and if there's something wrong with that or I'm struggling to set it up, I can just give you guys a call.
Yeah, definitely, exactly. I mean, even on from that, even if you're not a hardware customer, you got a problem with your laptop, whatever. I mean, we always try our best to accommodate, you as a customer with the problem. I mean, you may not have a laptop from us, but you've got this Farmplan software, and we know, that's equally important. You need both to work. Some instances we go, okay, look, let's get the laptop into it. We won't charge you anything, but we'll look at the problem, see what we can do, and we'll move forward from that point. As you say, Adam, like really our number one selling point, so to speak, is our care, our phone support. It ranges from anything from emails to printers. We can help you no matter what the problem is. And as John's going to go on to talking about cybersecurity, how to stay safe with emails. All that sort of thing, any problems, we're always here for the customer to help them out, no matter how little, whether it's, I can't think of a little problem, but like opening a Word document to trying to get printer to print in color, as a random example. But yeah, definitely, Adam.
Great.
Tom, just before we sort of hand over presentation rights to John for the next section, I was just interested, obviously looking at the products that we provide from hardware, whether it's laptops or desktops, there's obviously different requirements from the actual software as well. And I'm looking down through the sort of panelists and sort of and the guests, beg your pardon, and seeing actually there's a number of different sort of use cases here, whether it's our accounting product or whether it's gatekeeper cropping products. And I'm sort of, my mind goes back to some of the early days with Gatekeeper, where it's very sort of very hungry on the computer from a graphics point of view because of some of the mapping and the precision farming. What's the sort of change in your mind in terms of the software application and its sort of suitability towards the hardware? Because obviously we can gear up a higher spec machine in terms of sort of a better type of performance for the actual software, but as all of these systems sort of evolve and migrate, how do you sort of see that going? Do you think access will continue on a desktop? Do you see more people using laptops? Will people start using tablets in the future?
Sure. Yeah, well, especially with the COVID of the bomb, so to speak, it's laptops have definitely become more prominent than ever, with people wanting that accessibility, portability from anywhere, whether it's in the office, at home now, as well. And in recent years, the gap kind of between software requirements, hardware requirements does get closer because technology slows down to to evolve. The gap gets closer, so a reason we have the Gatekeeper spec computers is purely because that's a recommended spec. We could say the performance PC is a minimum spec to run Gatekeeper, but again, it's the sort of thing, maybe after 2 years you start noticing as Gatekeeper advances with more mapping, more features and enriched program, it gets slower and slower, that performance PC, whereby as you got that Gatekeeper computer with the higher specs, higher RAM and whatnot, that will keep you going for a lot longer, and you'll benefit more and more from it, because as Gatekeeper gets better, the computer will be able to run it, and that's transparent across the Prestige computer. That's the best of the best that we sell from Dow, and that will last you a long time and keep your Gatekeeper running. running at its best. Yeah. So, but again, like you're saying about the laptop side of things, they're all the same sort of specs, or even better than the desktop PCs, and they'll just run it equally well, whether you're working from home or whatnot.
Of course, you can sort of relay those off of a larger monitor as well, so you've got the best of both worlds.
Yeah, very true. Yeah.
Real. Okay, well, I think John's probably ready on the next section. So John's already introduced himself, but we're going to just take a slightly different look this time in terms of some of the scope of the hardware team. And yeah, John's going to shine a light on some of some interesting examples. So John, if you're ready, over to yourself.
Yep, thank you, Ben. Can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
Yep, perfect.
Awesome, brilliant. Okay, welcome everyone. So as mentioned earlier today, I'm going to target one simple area of cybersecurity for you guys. So there is an overwhelming amount of news from all over the world that what we see each day, the increasing number of cyber attacks, ransomware attacks, identity thefts, and all kinds of scams that any person can be a victim of. For example, I receive texts, for example, from DHL or Interlink, that kind of thing, for delivery, requesting I give them £2.75. Ironically, I was expecting a parcel one day, and it was from that courier, and they text me. Even it made me think, but obviously because I'm in this line of work, I know it was a fake. But for many people, it can be very real, and they fall for it. And £2.75 from hundreds and hundreds of people, that person's making a lot of money. So, but what if you are the kind of person that thinks, I've got no data on my machine of any interest. Who wants my data? You would be very, very wrong to think that. For example, emails are often used as a filing cabinet. So many of our customers, and me included, I retain a lot of my email information, and I put it in folders, and I keep it there for reference. They can be used to store sensitive information. But most importantly, your Outlook contains your contacts and your address book. I will touch base on that a bit later with you guys. So there are, believe it or not, over 3 billion fake emails sent daily, which is worldwide, obviously. The majority of these are called phishing emails. I will discuss this a bit later with you guys. So criminals will attempt to trick you into divulging personal information such as your login ID and password, banking or credit card information. Malicious links can come from friends who have been infected too, so be extra cautious. This is a fact for you guys, which is probably quite daunting actually. So 97% of us do not recognize a sophisticated email. And I am going to show you some examples of this later on. Which then brings me on to my next slide. So to make this this webinar I'm doing for me personally more interesting, it's based on a true story. This is actual events which happened to one of our customers. I obviously can't mention who the customer is, and to make it more interesting for you guys, I am going to throw a little bit of humor in there just to keep it alive, okay? So here we go. So meet Dave. Dave is the owner and director of a farm called We Sell Any Potato. It is Monday, and Dave is feeling epic. You can see that by the look on his face. He's feeling epic, but that's surprising because last week, Dave's emails were compromised. In other words, his email account was hacked. And now this is obviously very terrifying, but it's even more terrifying because Dave doesn't even know this yet. Meet Bob. Bob is the business accountant. Today, Bob has an hangover. I'm not sure about the actual customer, whether he did or not, but again, just for humor purposes. But luckily for Dave, his brain is in gear. Today, Bob receives an email from Dave. Just a regular email, just like any other day, asking Bob to pay a bill. On this occasion, Dave requested that he pays Glorious Potatoes using their new bank account the sum of £50,000. The email was written in the same context as any other from Dave. Even the invoice number from Glorious Potatoes was correct. But there's one sentence that stood out. Nothing obvious to anyone else, just some grammar that was unlike Dave, which Bob picked up on. Obviously, Bob smelt a rat. So what did Bob do? As with many emails you receive, it gives you the person's name, which is the display name. But to be extra sure that email actually came from that person, the best thing you can do to check that email is authentic and came from the right person is you hover your mouse over the person's name, and it should reveal the actual email address itself, the correct email address. And within Outlook itself, you can actually click on more options, and again, it verifies the correct address, and you can click on the contact card within Outlook as well. Again, it confirms the email address there. So Bob did the right thing next. He called Dave to make sure the email came from him. Sadly, Dave knew nothing about the email. He simply didn't send it. Now, on this day, Bob called me and he actually said to me, if it wasn't for that minor mistake in that email from Dave, he would have actually paid that £50,000 to that new bank account. So what happened here? We know Bob did the right thing by double checking and calling Dave. But what about Dave? Did Dave do anything wrong? Okay. So today, I'm just going to chat about some probable, I can't say that word, probable causes. I mentioned phishing emails earlier. So just to explain what phishing emails are, this is a type of online scam where criminals impersonate legitimate organizations. For example, your bank. Ransomware, this is quite common. This is often spread through phishing emails itself that contain malicious attachments. So if you receive one of these and you click on the attachment, what you can be then doing is encrypting all your data so it's unusable. You then got to pay a sum of money to that criminal to unlock it. And they do request a lot of money for that to happen. So users, customers, they do fall for this kind of scam. Spoofing, again, very common. This is a technique used in spam and phishing attacks to trick users into thinking a message came from a person or entity they even know or trust. Again, PayPal is a good example of this. I receive many emails from PayPal, but it's not actually PayPal, but it looks so legitimate. Okay. So if you can all just take a look at this email from Microsoft, I'll give you, 20 seconds or so to look through it. Now, this is based on We Sell Any Potato, the company, okay? So one of our customers. Is there anything on there which stands out to you, which doesn't look authentic, or something that says, okay, I'm not sure about this email? Just have a quick
Well, if I go first, Sean, I mean, just straight up, just reading from the top left, going across. So that all looks good. But then when you get to if you actually read it carefully, it says MS Protection and Services is misspelled. I mean, that's the first thing that caught my eye. I don't know if any of the other people see anything initially.
Yeah, well spotted, Tom. Absolutely. If I just move on to the next slide then, and I show you all the mistakes and the kind of thing you should be looking out for, which is stuff that maybe you wouldn't normally see. Okay, so as Tom said, at the top right, top middle, it says no reply at msprotectionservicesuk.co.uk. That is a fake domain. Okay, so now you as a customer may not know this, but as we work in this profession, we know that is a fake domain. Okay, so it's nothing to do with Microsoft. Then in the middle, it says sign in here, because Microsoft are asking you to log in and verify your email address, because otherwise it's going to stop being functional. Now, on this example, if a user clicked on that sign in here, it would take you to a website. The website might look like Microsoft. It will ask you to enter your email address and your password. You click on verify. You then get a welcome screen saying, yes, all verified, thank you very much. You as a user are none the wiser. But in fact, what you may have just done is just submitted an online form. Somebody at the other end has just received an email, which includes your email address and your password. You've just been hacked, basically. And it's that simple. And like Dave, if this what happened to Dave, that's why he didn't know about it. Below there's a threat. So like many companies, Microsoft certainly would not threaten you. And tell you they're going to turn off your services. It just wouldn't happen. You would get several emails before that anyway. And at the very bottom, if you're anything like Farmplan or me personally, if someone gets my name wrong, they spell it, they should know me, they should know my details, and it's on their system. That information should be correct. At the bottom, there is spelling mistakes. So be extra cautious of that. Now, if you take a look at this next slide here, now this is actually not something I've made up to educate you guys to show you what's good and bad. This actually came from an email from one of my customers called Sandra. And she's asking me, she said, John, is this email, is it genuine? I think looking at it instantly, you can see that it's not. The logo in the middle from Microsoft Office, you can tell it's made up, it's not real. And just below that, it says your access to Sandra at her email address has been blocked. Obviously, it's not been blocked because she would never have received this in the first place. But again, it's a threat, and people, they react on threats. This is where we always encourage all our customers to, email it in, phone us up, forward it on to us, even if it doesn't look real. Ask us first. It's peace of mind for the customer. So we always encourage this. So let's go back to Dave. So regarding Dave's compromise, we know the following happened. The hacker scrutinized Dave's emails. He actually went through Dave's emails, his personal information. They identified Bob as being the business accountant. They took their time to see how Dave actually wrote his emails to Bob. Of course they did. It was worth 50K to them, and they almost got it. So, how do criminals find information about Dave in the first place? How do they find it about us, individuals, all the people out there who actually get hacked each day? So, on this occasion, do you think that this criminal, they chose an audience? Did they choose agriculture? Did they Google agriculture? They come across Dave's website. They found Dave's email address on the website and send him a spoofing email? No. The most probable causes is this. This is something called credential stuffing. I'm not going to go into this in depth at all because this is a seminar all on its own. But Dave could have been a victim of credential stuffing. And this is software that contains a list of stolen credentials. So, for example, if Dave got compromised like he didn't know that. His information could have been stored somewhere, passed on, sold to somebody else, and then that person makes use of it. So it's a domino effect. So the criminal may have obtained Dave's email address from another person they've already hacked, or this data may have been sold from one criminal to this criminal. So bidding for stolen data is very, very normal. I know it sounds very scary. So, as mentioned, Bob called us to help them get them out of this bad situation because, end of the day, a lot of customers, once they're in this situation, they don't always know what to do, and even if they do know what to do, they don't know what the consequences are. So they need peace of mind. They need that phone call to make to somebody to get them out of this and reassure them that everything's actually functional afterwards and working correctly. So the first steps we did was to change Dave's email password. Because we got full control over their email services and even their domain name, we could do this instantly. So it was done. You don't have to wait hours for this to be done. It's done in one phone call straight away. So as part of the recovery process, we examined the telltale signs that hackers typically perform on email accounts. Now, because we do this all the time, we know what hackers do. We know what to look for, and we know how to recover it. On this occasion, we know that Dave was not receiving any emails at all. There simply was nothing coming into his inbox. But when we logged into our online portal, so for example, this is an area where we log in and we can get all kinds of facts about all the emails for each user and how to recover things, amend things, all kinds of things we could do in there for our customers. Now, what we could see on this day was that Dave was receiving his emails, they were being delivered, and they wasn't being treated as spam. So they wasn't being moved to the spam box. We could see it, but where were they going? So we checked one of the telltale signs. We logged into Dave's email address, and the hacker actually logged in and created a rule, and the rule stipulated any emails that contain a full stop, move it to a different folder. It's very clever because every single email you receive contains a full stop. It has to. And for that reason, Dave wasn't receiving any emails at all. But even though we rescued Dave, the criminal still has Dave's contacts and his address book potentially. This person can then send the same kind of spoofing email to all those people as well. So on this occasion, having this type of IT backup and support was critical for our customer. Like I said, we've got full control over their credentials. We manage it for them. They trust us. So on this occasion, we made, as a precaution, we made all users change their passwords. We also recommended they use a two-step authentication for added security. And also, because we look after the entire systems anyway, that includes their network, their PCs, we instigated a full virus scan on all their machines. Again, this just gives peace of mind to the customer at the same time, just to make sure they've got nothing on their machines. And that is it from me. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thank you, John. That was really good. I've sort of seen your presentation before, but I know we didn't really cover sort of credential stuffing, and I'm always amazed how many different terms there are and different things to learn around this. And I suppose there's no finish line with this. It's just about general awareness and a constant sort of attention to this.
Yes, definitely.
And lucky in Sandra's case as well, that she was able to sort of contact you and sort of just ratify that, because I don't think I'd know an example you provided if what a real Microsoft domain name would be or not. So yeah, really interesting.
I think the scary thing is you've got an employer and they employ maybe 20, 30 people. Employees come and go. It's when the new ones joined, they got being made aware of this kind of information as well. And it's teaching and educating basically. So yeah, it's an ongoing thing, unfortunately.
No, that's great. Well, actually, you've sort of segued quite nicely into the last section, and in terms of education and teaching. So I'll hand over to Adam on this, who can sort of just guide us through the last section, but also quite an empowering section for
Sorry, Ben. Just before we hand over, do you have one last sort of poll for everybody, if that's okay?
Thank you. Yeah, well reminded.
So just bearing in mind, obviously, everything that we've talked through today so far, the question on the poll that will shortly be on your screen is, will you be looking to make any changes as a result of this session? So it should hopefully come up on your screen in just a moment. And again, if you could just vote with sort of the most likely. Give it a couple more seconds. Everyone seems to be voting now. The longer answers take a bit longer to read.
Wherever you're learning, we'll be in a second.
That's brilliant. I think everyone has voted, and I'll just close and share the results with you. Adam, this is positive for your section that you're about to go on to.
Good to see.
So yeah, that's really good results for everyone. So without further ado, what we'll do is just pass back over to Adam, and he's going to just run through our e-learning section.
Brilliant. Thanks everyone, and thanks to Tom and John. There was some really good, insightful stuff in there. Some useful stuff, and just goes to show we've always got to be vigilant to these things, and that's half the battle, is just keeping an eye on things. And like Tom said before, if you ever need anything, you're a Farmplan customer, you phone the hardware team, as the same as you contact any of us. And the email that John showed there is a perfect example of, we're here to help. And if anything concerns cybersecurity or hardware related, those guys know their stuff and they're there to help. And interestingly, actually on this topic of e-learning, if I pop on to the next one, if you haven't been on the e-learning platform yet, get in touch. We can send you a link out, or you can visit the website and get to the e-learning platform from there. The domains on the screen there, as you can see, Farmplan -Paragraca. It's a bit of a long one, so we can just email you that link or send you that link if you get in touch with us. What this is it's a brand new way to digest and take on board and absorb some more knowledge about your Farmplan software, but also not just Farmplan software. There are actually some hardware courses going on there as well. John's done a brilliant cybersecurity course on there, which I would recommend to anybody, as well as some other ones as well. It's a free platform for anybody to go and use. You just have it's very, very quick and simple to sign up. You just pop your email address in, create a password, tick one of the little capture boxes just to prove you're not a robot, and bang, you're in. And you can jump straight into the course catalog, and we've got courses on there for cropping, for business and accounts. We've got a couple of livestock courses on there, like I say, hardware courses, and they're growing all the time. This has only recently been launched. We're on about 16 courses at the moment, and that's going to go up to 20 probably before the end of the next couple of weeks as well. So that library of courses on there is growing and growing and growing. There's also a mobile app that goes with this, available both on Android and Apple devices, iOS devices, sorry. And so you can take your learning on the move anywhere with you, do it any time of day you like. And really this is a supplementary thing. So this is just another value-added part of our support services. It's designed to expand your knowledge, appreciate the software more, unlock more value from it, understand more about what you can do with the software, and you can use it in conjunction with our one-to-one training. So it might be really good to do a couple of these courses prior to having that instructor-led one-to-one session, so that you've got the basics kind of squared away in your mind, you're comfortable in navigating the program and done some of the basic setup and things. It might open your eyes to some more of the functionality and different aspects of the program on there, and maybe sort of look at features you might have been missing before or not been using. So there's a whole range of benefits to doing this, and probably the second bullet point down is probably the one that's most appealing. It's an absolutely free platform for you guys to use, and you can go on and just keep taking courses, do as many as you like, and you can track your progress on there. If you're a bit competitive, you can see how you're doing and try and complete more and more and build up that training time. And it really just does pay dividends. I'm obviously going to say this slightly biased, but investing in training is never a bad thing. Increasing your knowledge is never a bad thing. It's never a waste of time. And this is just a way to supplement and to build that foundation of knowledge that you've got there about the software, and hopefully unlock its potential a little bit more. We've had some really good feedback so far from customers on this. It's very quick, simple to get signed up, like I said, and it's there with you because it's cloud-based, so you can log in from and do your courses on a tablet, on your phone even, or you can do it while you're sat in the office and maybe on a break or something and do a couple of these courses. A lot of these courses are designed sort of be 15-20 minutes in length. There are some longer, more involved ones that you might want to split out. So there's a nutrient management one on there for you gatekeeper users, which actually is really in depth, very technical, takes you all the way through everything you'd ever want to know about nutrient management planning and gatekeeper. And then we've got some more basic ones, for example, how to get started with your livestock software, also an introduction to the farm mapping module if you've never really sort of dipped your toe in that before, just getting you used to the basics and some of the functionalities on the course there. As I already mentioned, John's great cybersecurity course and the other hardware courses that are building up in there as well. I think, Ben, you've been on there and done a couple of courses, haven't you? Don't know how you found the experience.
Really good, actually, for all the positive points you've mentioned. And it's actually a tool we use internally to sort of roll out training amongst our team. But you're absolutely right. I think one of the really interesting areas is being able to be proactive about the knowledge that you're consuming, but at a time that's right for you. We very often hear, from a lot of our professional customers that, the 9 to 5 time, the busy time during the day, is actually when you're deploying your business with your customers, and actually, that's obviously our core business time as well. So to be able to access this, over a sort of a cup of tea first thing in the morning, or heaven forbid gin and tonic later on in the evening, but just to sort of sit down for 5 minutes, and go through some stuff and have that access to that valuable resource is really good. And I think you touched on this before, and quite keen on it. It's for our customers to sort of push and develop as well. If there's areas or subjects that are of interest, as with anything really, please let us know, because we're sort of here to provide that for you.
Absolutely. And like I sort of mentioned before as well, we've had questions internally about the future of training, and obviously COVID has had a big impact on us being able to go out and visit people on farm and provide training that way. We absolutely will be going out and doing that again as soon as we can. In the meantime, we've delivered hundreds of hours of remote training, and people have got a lot more used to that, a lot more comfortable with that, found out that it's not actually, you don't need a particularly high-speed internet connection for us to use our LogMeIn tool to come in and guide you through the program with you. And as I said, this is a really great way of getting most instructor training. A lot of the times I've been on site before, and especially with new software, new user training, sometimes when you're paying for an on-site visit, some of that value isn't quite maximized because you've got a brand new user there, and you're trying to help them learn their way around the program, maybe set up a few things. Well, if you can jump onto the e-learning platform, try and understand the basics, go through some of the simple setup things, when you have that instructor-led training, the one-to-one training, be it remote or in the future again on site, it suddenly unlocks so much more value to that, because you can get straight in and really push things onto that next level. So lots and lots of advantages for jumping on and taking a look at that. And like I say, if anybody's interested, call us on support, drop us a line, and we'll ping you the link, and you can be on there in a couple of minutes and get going with it.
Brilliant, thank you. Well, I haven't been looking at the clock, and Vicky's quite rightly keeping an eye on matters, so I can see we're just up on time now. But before we depart, I think it's an opportunity just to make sure we've got any questions. Vicky, have we got anything that's come in at all?
Yeah, we've got a couple of questions, so I'll just run through those really quickly. I'm conscious of time. We've got one here from a mobile farm secretary, and she works on a laptop computer currently. It's a 17-inch screen, and she's just asking, is this the biggest size of laptop you can buy, or is there a bigger one? So that probably goes to John, yourself, or Tom.
Yeah, I don't mind answering. Yeah, I mean, honestly, nowadays we can still provide 17-inch laptops, not a problem. But like I said before, 15 inches are kind of the go-to at the moment for the balance of moving it around the office, you're going home with it, that sort of thing. So yeah, we can provide 17-inch laptops, Dell laptops as well. Like I said, anything you need specifically, so like your needs, we can accommodate. So yeah.
But they don't tend to go bigger than 17 inch, is that right?
No, that's right. At 17, I've never seen a laptop bigger than 17 inch. Yeah.
Well, I've got a couple of other questions that I'll really quickly run through. So I've got one here that says, do you have to have Microsoft Outlook to check if email links are correct or not? And that's probably one for you, John.
For me, I think, yeah. You don't have to have Outlook. No, you can use, for example, a lot of people use Outlook because it's the corporate version and it's the one we strongly recommend for its security behind the scenes. But a lot of people use webmail as well. So webmail will also give you that functionality. Sadly, there are users out there still using Windows Live Mail, which is not supported at all, and it's actually a security risk. So yes, Outlook, webmail, fine. Any other packages, for example, Live Mail, just make sure whether they're compatible, whether they're supported or not, because they can be a security breach.
Well, thank you. And just another quick question. I've got one here. How often, realistically, should I be changing my email password?
That's one for me again.
That's a good one.
That's 101 questions. Basically, it's like making backups of your data. The more you can do it, the better. Obviously, we are all a little bit lazy when it comes to passwords because we don't want to keep remembering them. But I think one example that comes to mind is if you got an email address, for example, dave@wesellandypotato.com, and he's got a password which is his number plate of his car. You might also have an Amazon account using the same email address and password. You might have a online shopping, Tesco's, that kind of thing, using the same credentials. For example, in the scenario with Dave, if you got hacked and the hacker thought, okay, let's just try a little pun here. Let's try and log into his Amazon account. Wham, he's in. So if he changes his passwords more often and keep the passwords separate for all of their accounts, that's the safest way to go about things.
And then just back John up as well on that point, sorry, before we run out of time, is John touched on as well two-step authentication. That's a massive security a good thing to have. So that if you've got Office 365 through us, we can enable two-step authentication, which basically means even if they know the password and they try signing in, you'll get a notification on the phone saying, is this you trying to sign in? And you'll be like, I'm in my car driving, or I don't know, whatever. You'll be like, no, it's not me. And you can decline the the login attempt. So having that two-step authentication through Office 365 emails, which again we can provide, is huge bonus.
Yep, spot on.
On the password one, there's actually another question there on a good way of
that out.
Sorry, yeah. I was just keen on that one because I saw the other day. What are you guys' feelings, to the experts in the room, so to speak, on some of these password generators that you can see online? Are they a good way of generating your random passwords, or is there a better way to think of those and store those?
I mean,
go on, Tom.
I was just gonna say, as long as the password, I think they're fine. But if you look at the password, as overall, if it's got capitals, special characters, is it over 10 characters long, I think it's fine. But if it just comes up with common words, like blue, yellow, whatever, obviously, stay away from that.
Yeah, I think the common thing is people might have a password which says Arvis 2021. The next time they change it to Arvis 2022, and so on and so forth. So they need to try and make it completely different. So where the software kicks into play, it does generate completely different and random passwords for you.
And are there any good sort of apps or pieces of software that help you remember your passwords, or reminding you to generate new ones and things like that, and sort of
I personally have never promoted that at all. It's usually down to user preference. I don't see any wrong in it at all. But yeah, if there's anything out there, it's where you save those credentials on your PC. So if your PC gets hacked because you haven't got enough security on there, then again that information could be compromised. So again, maybe keeping stuff in your brain is probably the best thing.
Interesting. And there was another question I saw as well, just for you guys too. We often, guys on support often get asked the difference between the hardware that you guys supply and what they can sort of buy from a high street retailer, etc. Because a lot of the times they see the Dell brand and think like why am I getting from Farmplan, but a bit cheaper from a high street retailer? Can you go through the differences between the sort of products that you guys supply?
I can cover one basis. Is that okay, Tom?
Yeah, go for it, yeah.
Obviously, primarily we sell the Dell range, and it is the business platform. Got a bit of an echo. The difference between the business platform and what we call a residential one is the business platform is better components inside, and it's the warranty support is all UK based, whereas the other one is the components of a cheaper brand. They're more likely to fail, and any warranty support is abroad, so the turnaround to try and get things fixed is quicker when it's on a business platform. You do pay a little bit more for it, but you get what you pay for. I'm open. That's answered one question, unless you've got anything else to add to that, Tom.
Yeah, I agree totally what you're saying. I mean, if we just again use Cookie Cutter PC World as an example, if you bought a laptop from them, you aren't buying a laptop that we've had personal setting it up, installing your programs. You're getting a laptop that comes with 10 different antivirus programs that they're trying to sell you. You buy the laptop, but although you get that laptop, there's still bloatware on there. It's called, them trying to sell you like OneDrive, trying to sell you a different antivirus of like 10 different types. So yeah, but our laptops, they're all pre-configured with your data if that's required, your programs, and as I just went over, any problems with the laptop, when you get it, or computer, whatever it might be, we're just on the end of the line for you to ask us, instead of you having a good PC world. Again, just as an example, to try asking them how to install a program, where we're right there for you.
Okay, Vicky, I think, have we covered everything?
Yeah, I think so. That was great. Thank you, everyone. Thanks everyone for attending, all your really good questions, and yeah, thank you to our panel with all their knowledge.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And I would just urge anyone on this call, please get in contact with us if you've liked what you've seen, but also if there's ideas for anything further. And if nothing else, please check out the website, where there's lots of information and also links through to e-learning and everything else we've spoken about. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Brilliant. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thanks, everybody.